All right, my friends, you got the Ozman with you again. And today, I'm going to be heading to the Renaissance Fair. Oh yeah, the Ren Fair. And I'm going to be dressing up as a pirate. I got the costume sort of started. Haven't completed it yet, but I'm waiting for a friend of mine's coming over. We're going to go hang at the fair. I think he might be bringing his girlfriend with him. I'm not too sure. He was a little vague. But in any case, it's going to be a party, my friends. So I'm going to be, I got my leather pants on. I was going to wear a leather shirt, but they say the temperature is going to be like 90 degrees, and I'm going to bring a leather pirate jacket, which I'm going to show you in a second. So I think I'm going to, and I got my West Coast tall boots, so it's going to be, I'm really going to be, almost full cow. Almost full cow. Not completely cow, but almost full cow. So, I don't want to overheat there at the fair. So, and also, I don't know how much videotaping I'm going to do because I'm primarily going there to shoot still photography. I go basically every year and I take photos, like still photos. But since I've been trying to upload more into the channel, I'm going to include some video, or at least I'm going to try. So we'll see how far I get in the video at the Renaissance Fair, because like I said, I want to focus more on still photography. But if I can throw in some video, I will. So let me get finished getting dressed up here, and then you can feel the magic. All right. So let me get the magic the full armor, and I'll show you in a bit. All right, my friends. Well, I'm almost ready here. This is the part of my costume dressing up that I always kind of stall on. Oh, by the way, I'm wearing my old Wescos. These are my harness Wescos down here. I'm wearing the older Wescos because the Renaissance Fair has a lot of dirt. It's dirt roads, basically. So as you go through the day, your boots get all dirty. And I'm still babying the new ones, so I'm wearing the old Wescos. Anyway, so now it's the belt part. So I got to put a belt over here. And I either use this angel belt, buckle, I should say, or I usually go with, my other one is my Harley Davidson snake. Oops, Harley Davidson snake. So let's see which one looks better. All right, I'm dropping everything on the floor here, but I'll pick it up in a second. Where's the little? All right, so this is the first one. Harley Davidson buckle. Let me see what that looks like. I got to pick up all this stuff on the floor. Okay. All right. So this is the first one, the Harley Davidson buckle. So it's a snake, and it says Harley Davidson because I ride a Harley. So let me take a look at what it looks like in the mirror here. Hold on. All right. I just looked in the mirror. It doesn't look too bad. Now this is my pirate jacket. My pirate leather jacket. I spent a fortune on this jacket. And every year I go to the Renaissance Fair, it's like 100 degrees over there. And people say to me, why are you wearing that heavy jacket? It's 100 degrees. And I say, I paid a fortune for this leather jacket. And I will wear it. So anyway, this is the costume. I always wear a cross because, there's always this, Catholic and there's a Protestant thing going on there. So a lot of people comment on my cross. And I like to wear a buckle that's unusual too, because people comment. And when you're out there doing still photography, you always want to be able to engage with the model, right? So when you ask somebody, hey, can I take your picture? It's good if you have something they can grab onto, right? So they might say, hey, the cool cross, or hey, I like your buckle. You own a Harley Davidson, stuff like that. It really makes connecting with your model it makes it a good connection. And then you can get some good solid photos. So that's kind of what I'm hoping to happen tonight. So anyway, this is the Harley buckle, but let me show you the angel buckle, and then you won't be able to decide because maybe you can write in comments what you thought was the best one. Right now I'm leaning towards taking the Harley buckle. But let's see how the angel buckle looks, okay? All right, so now I got the angel buckle on. This is the buckle I normally wear to the Renaissance Fair. But I'm thinking I want to mix it up this year. So right now I'm still leaning towards the Harley buckle. I'm probably going to decide at the last minute. Maybe I'll ask my friend what he thinks. But these are my two styles. And of course I also could just wear a regular buckle. But like I said, I really want to engage with the people I ask to pose for me. So we'll see. But I wanted to give you the look. When the final part of the look is my sunglasses. Yes. So this is basically my Renaissance pirate look. Now, is it completely official? Of course not. In the Renaissance day, they didn't have sunglasses. You know, they didn't have Westcoat tall boots, even though they did have boots. And I'm not too sure what kind of belts. I think they had like a kind of a wraparound belt. But you know, it's a cosplay. It's just to have fun, and you know, look cool. You know, be seen. And as I've mentioned in other videos, I like events where people can kind of dress like their authentic self, or what they think their authentic self is, right? So, man, every time I make a video, there's like the police or somebody. I live in the neighborhood. I gotta move to Beverly Hills or someplace where it's quiet, because my neighborhood always has the police outside. You know, if you watch some of my past videos, I've been thinking about buying a Corvette or some other sports car. But one reason I haven't pulled the trigger on that is because I live in, you know, gangster's paradise here. And, you know, if I have a nice car out there, it's probably be gone by the next day. But anyway, I digress. So, yeah, this is basically I don't have a hat. I do have a hat, but it kind of looks a little lame. So I never wear it. I'll show you it, but I don't like the hat. All right, so this is the pirate hat. You know, it just looks goofy, right? I don't think it looks good. So I've always toyed around with, you know, the pirate hat. I've always toyed around with maybe getting a nicer pirate hat. But, you know, hats in general, especially when you're doing still photography, they get in the way of the camera. Because, you know, you're taking pictures like that, and this hat just seems to always get in the way. So I don't think I'm going to bring in the hat, but, you know, it is what it is. So anyway, my friend should be showing up pretty soon. Right now, I think I'm going to go with the Harley buckle, but we'll see. And I'll try to record whatever I can record. I don't know how much I'll be able to do, just because, like I said, I want to do a lot of still photography. But you know, we'll see what kind of magic we can come up with. All right. So let's see how the rest of this video goes. And I guess it's just something pirate-ish, like let's go to Arby's. But I'm not very good at stuff like that. Anyway, next time you see this video, the next section of this video, I'll be at the Renaissance Fair. All right, I'm here at the Renaissance Fair, walking from the parking lot to the entrance. I'm here with my friend Ira. Ira. Huzzah! Oh, so my camera's acting weird here. Okay. So anyway, I'm gonna take some pictures. I brought my big Canon camera here. Look at this. So hopefully I can find some good pictures. Get some cute girls to pose for me, and see what kind of magic we can find. Okay, you're not going to believe this, my friends. I mean, I'm kind of in shock myself. So I come here every year, and I bring my big camera, this one right here, this one, and no problems. Never had any problems. And then this lady says to me, "Oh, you can't bring in that camera with the flash. You can just bring in the camera but not the flash." And I was like, what the hell are you talking about? And she says, "Oh, we're cracking down. We have our own official photographers who, you know, have the whole setup, and you're not an official photographer. Hence, you cannot bring in your flash." That's just lame. I don't like that at all. By the way, the tickets for this event, $55, 55, not including parking, which is an extra $15. So anyway, I'm on my way back to my car to drop off the flash, and then I'm going to go back in. But you know, this is not cool. It leaves a bad taste in my mouth. But anyway, let me show you. Since I'm heading back to the parking lot, you can see some of the people coming in. So there you go. It's got directing traffic. You got some people crossing the way over there. They're coming in. I have to go back to my car.
100%. Thank you. Follow the number 6. From there, make a right, left to the left, left to the left.
Okay, I think I'm going to go this way because too many people coming coming down this path. Very lame. That's all I'm going to say. Very lame. All right, my friends. Well, you're not going to believe it. They told me, I told you that I had to return my flash because they won't let my flash in. They say I'm not a professional photographer. I'm not on their list of professional photographers, some baloney like that. But I've been walking around here for like a half an hour in this heat, and I cannot find my car. I don't know where the hell my car is. So I'm kind of getting very annoyed. So my friend, he was inside the park, but he's coming out to help me. But I don't know where the hell my car is. So yeah, it's been kind of an annoying Renaissance fair so far. So we'll see how the rest of it goes. With the boots and everything. All right. Here's the Renaissance fair. All right, so I'm here at the Renaissance Fair. They don't like taking they want us to take videos, but we're, breaking the laws, Judas Priest would say. And I'm wearing my pirate outfit because, and my cool boots, even though they're kind of dirty, and my jacket. So, come check out the Renaissance Fair. Okay, I love the boots. West Coast tall boots, San Francisco, Portland, all that fun stuff, Folsom Fair. So anyway, we'll keep this video magic going. All right, my friends. So, I thought I'd show you some of the pictures I took while I was at the Renaissance Fair. I'm not going to show all of them, just a few, highlights. Actually, didn't shoot as much as I would have liked because of the Renaissance. All of a sudden, they have all these restrictions on photography. I don't know what's going on with these people. Don't bring your flash. Don't flash. Don't flash at the Renaissance Fair. That's all I'm going to say. Anyway, these two lovely ladies, they agreed to pose for me. I think the blonde girl is supposed to be a fairy, and I'm not sure with the other lady. I think she's supposed to be a member of the royal court, maybe some kind of a princess or something like that. But the interesting thing about these ladies is, after I took their photo, I went out, spent the rest of the day hanging out, seeing the sights, everything. So a few hours passed, and then later they found me. And they said, hey, can we get your contact information? We'd like to, see the photos if they're on Instagram or anything like that. So I said, oh, sure. I gave him my contact info. But most people, when I take their photos at these kind of events, some people want like their photos or they want to see where they can see them. But a lot of people just pose and they move on. So a lot of these kind of cosplay or anime festivals or any of these kind of things that people kind of dress up, I find that they love to have people take their photos. So that's why when the Renaissance Fair gave me all this attitude about, oh, don't bring your flash, no flashing, no flash, and don't bring a tripod, and don't do this, and don't do that. It's like they're sort of trying to discourage photographers from taking pictures. But part of the fun for the people who go to an event like this is having their photos taken. So, I don't know. I'm not sure I'm in love with this new policy the Renaissance Fair has. But anyway, these two ladies were really sweet, and they posed for me. All right, so these ladies here, these four lovely ladies. So I basically was walking down the path here, and I saw them, and I said, hey, I like the cut of their jib. I like the way they look. So I asked them if they'll pose for me. They said sure, and I took their picture. But I don't think they knew exactly what was going down because they said to their friend, like the girl at the end there, the one in green, who, not the one with the headband, but the one over there in green. If you're looking at your phone, TV, whatever computer, she'd be on the right. Anyway, she said to her friends, "What was that about?" And they go, "I don't know." So I guess they're not used to people stopping them to take their photos, but I thought they looked cute, and I thought they kind of caught my eye, so I grabbed the shot. All right, so this girl in black, she just caught my eye because she has this kind of like, it reminded me of the 80s, the whole Susie and the Banshees, the Depeche Mode, the Cure, this kind of new wave gothic thing. I don't know if that's the look she was going for. Maybe it was her boots, or I don't know if those are boots or shoes, but they kind of look like low-rise boots to me. But I just loved her look, so I grabbed that quick shot of her. I only got one shot of her, but I'm pretty happy with it. This next shot here is just this gal, blowing the horn here. But why I really like this photo is the girl on the right, if you can see her right underneath the sign. I just love that smile. Sometimes when you take a photo, you're aiming at a particular subject, but then later when you're looking at the photo, you see something else magical. And when I was looking at this photo after I shot it, I thought, oh man, I'm glad that girl was there in the corner. She just, in my opinion, she made the shot. All right, so I'm just going to show you two more photos here, and then I'm going to wrap up the video here, or go back to the video, I should say. It was an okay day at the Renaissance Fair. Actually, I didn't shoot as much as I have in the past. This was, I think it's because when I got there, the way you start your day is kind of sometimes how it's all going to, the rest of your day is just going to be shaped by how you started it, right? And when I got there and they gave me such grief about the flash, it just really put a damper in the day. And then, of course, I was having all this trouble trying to find my car. They don't mark the parking lot very clearly. So by the time I actually got in and I was shooting, I don't think I was in the best headspace. But still, it was a pretty good fair. And like I've said in other videos, I really love when people go to cosplay events or maybe a fetish event or some sort of kinky event or something like that, or costume event, whatever you want to call it, because I always feel like they're showing kind of their true self or who they really want to be, or a part of their personality that doesn't always get to be expressed in the everyday life that we all live. So, overall, I had a pretty good time at the fair, but, a little bit of a hiccup there. I actually did look up the Renaissance Fair policy when I got home. And yeah, they do have some comments there about you having to sign up for a press pass. But, it was all new to me. I never seen that in past fairs. But I'll keep that in mind for next year, I guess. All right, I'm having myself a beer, hanging out here at the Renaissance Fair. They don't like me taking video, but sometimes you got, as Judas Priest says, you got to break the law, my friends. Break that law. All right, my friends, how you doing out there? Well, I'm done with my Renaissance Fair adventure, and I'm heading back to the car. It was a pretty good day overall, even though it started off kind of lame. But when I get back home, I'll go into more details. But yeah, another year at the Renaissance Fair. All right, my friends, how you doing? It's the Oz Man, and I just got back from the Renaissance Fair. It was a crazy Renaissance Fair. I have never had an issue. I've been going to the Renaissance Fair for years. I mean, years. I first went to my very first Renaissance Fair back in the 1990s. Probably, if I had to guess, I don't really remember the exact year, but I think it was like 1998 that I first went to the Renaissance Fair. And I remember I had met this girl, and I kind of wanted to ask her out on a date, and I was kind of flirting with her. And she said to me, well, why don't you come to I'm working the Renaissance Fair. This was down in San Diego. I was living in San Diego at the time. And she goes, why don't you come down to the Renaissance Fair, and then, we can talk and maybe get to know each other more there. So I liked her, and I said, okay, screw it. I'm going to go to the Renaissance Fair. So I went to the Renaissance Fair, drove out of the middle of nowhere. It was my very first Renaissance Fair. And I did hook up with her, and we hanged out and everything, but it didn't really turn into a long romance or anything like that. But that was my very first Renaissance Fair. Then in the early 2000s, I got into photography, and I wanted to start photographing events and photographing people. So I thought, hey, why not go to the Renaissance Fair? People dress up, So I ended up going to the Renaissance Fair up in the San Francisco area. And I did that for a lot of years. Then eventually I moved back to Los Angeles, and I just kept going to the Renaissance Fair, kept taking pictures, went every year. And it's been, it's always been fun. The Renaissance Fair is very strange in a way, because when I first went, I felt there was a lot more adult oriented. it seemed like it was a lot more about being sexy and being kind of naughty and, being a little flirtatious. As the years have progressed, it seems like the people who run the Renaissance Fair are looking for more of a family-friendly event. They want everybody, they want children and they want, grandpas and grandma. They want to really move away from the more sexy aspect. I've noticed that as the years have gone by. And even today, I was there at the fair and, there was a lot of, sexy people walking around, a lot of sexy women. Everybody was looking good, but it didn't have that kind of adult theme. I didn't feel it was like that old-fashioned flirtatious, kind of, adultish kind of vibe. It seemed like it has become very family-friendly, which, I guess the Renaissance people, they want that to be the case. But one thing I never encountered in the past was this photography restriction. I have gone there many years and I always bring my big camera with the flash and everything. And this is the first year where they said to me, oh, no flash. And at first they were kind of looking at my camera like, well, you're not an official photographer, you don't have a press pass. And I was like, what are you talking about? I've never needed a press pass. I've never had any issues. My flash? Who cares that I have a flash? And they're like, oh, no, you need to have a permit to be here. You need to be a photo press credentials. And I'm like, I've never heard of that before. And whenever I go to an event, especially like a cosplay event, like a Renaissance Fair or an anime convention or Comic-Con or any of these kind of things that you think of where people dress up, never had an issue where somebody told me, oh, you need press credentials. This is the first time, and especially the Renaissance Fair, I've never had this happen to me. So I was really taken aback by that whole situation. And as you saw in the video, they told me, well, you can bring in the camera, but not the flash, which I just thought was ridiculous. And then they said, don't bring any tripods, no monopods. So basically, they don't want any photographic accessories. You can bring just the camera itself, but nothing else. And I just thought, okay, whatever. I didn't want to get in a big, long argument. I was like, okay, fine. I'm just coming here to have some fun, shoot some video photography. And then later, I'll get to that in a second. So then, of course, as you saw in the video, I had to go find my car. I couldn't find it. It was like ridiculous. I was searching and searching. Finally, my friend showed up and we both kind of broke up into different sections of the parking lot till we found my car. And both of us, I parked the car way further than either one of us thought. But, sometimes when you're hanging out with friends and you're talking, you don't necessarily keep track of where you might. All right, my friends, I just got off the phone call. A friend of mine called me. That's why I had to cut the video short. And he was just basically asking me some motorcycle stuff. Anyway, let me try to readjust things here because I was stepped away for a bit. I'm not too sure exactly where I left off. I think I was talking about the photo policy. So basically, at the Renaissance Fair, they don't want you to use your flash photography or bring any accessories because they say that, well, we hired our own professional photographers that have credentials, and we don't want our guests, our visitors to get confused and think you're one of them. The whole time I was there, I hardly saw any photographers, but the ones I did see were all like me. They were all just amateur guys. I didn't see anybody with press credentials or any of that stuff. But anyway, the lady, of course, told me, well, you can keep the camera, but not the flash, which is just ridiculous because my camera is so advanced, you don't need the flash. And plus, I use Photoshop. It'd be easy to make a flash effect. So I was like, okay, whatever. I didn't want to get into a big argument. But as you saw, I couldn't figure out where I parked the car. There was no markers or anything. And eventually my friend had to come out and he also couldn't find the car. We were searching. Finally, we separated and he found the car and he said, oh, Oz, I found it. So then I met up with him and it all worked out. And I left my flash there and we went back and hanged out at the Renaissance Fair. But later we were discussing, why would they have this policy? And one thing that he mentioned, which I think is true, is he goes, well, maybe photographers would bring in their own models and then they would do photo shoots there, and they didn't like that. That's why they have this policy. So you can bring a camera, but not all your equipment. That way you couldn't, utilize their space. And I'm like, well, that's definitely possible. That's definitely possible. But I don't know, to be honest, I still don't know why they would care. I've been shooting every year with my flash and everything and never had an issue, but whatever, I didn't want to get in a big argument with the girl. I was telling my friend, if you watch, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, any of these sites, they have reels, or sometimes they're called reels, sometimes they're called, they have shorts, stuff like that, right? But basically, it's just videos, right? Short videos, and you've all seen them. Usually it's some girl doing some kind of TikTok dance or something like that. But one thing I've noticed in one of my feeds is I get a lot of videos of people being hostile towards each other, right? So they're picking up fights, or there's road rage, and I don't even know how I got this. Maybe the algorithm saw me look at some road rage video or something. But anyway, people are getting upset and they're showing fights, and I see all these videos of people fighting. And I don't like those videos, ironically, even though it keeps showing me them, because it just puts me in a bad, not in a bad mood, but it's kind of depressing, And when I was talking to this girl, I thought to myself, this could be one of those things where I could escalate and say, I want to speak to the manager and all this stuff. But I just thought, whatever. Doesn't mean that much to me to use my flash. If it's that big of a deal, I will just leave the flash in the car. I don't need this drama. And my friend who just called me, he was asking me about some motorcycle stuff, and we were talking about some drama that's happening in the motorcycle world. And I mean, it's just, life is short, and I just want to enjoy my day at the Renaissance Fair or riding my bike or whatever. So, so I decided it wasn't worth the aggravation. The other thing too that I wanted to comment on, it was a hot day, and as you can see, this was basically my costume, except where's my glasses? I don't even know where I put my glasses. Where did I put my glasses? Okay, well anyway, you saw earlier I had my black sunglasses. And I was walking around the fair, and this girl will walk past me with her boyfriend or husband, I don't know. And she goes, wow, you look really good. And I said, thanks. But then the husband said, oh, well, look at him with that jacket. It's 100 degrees. He's sweating like a pig. And then I said to him, well, I'm not going to deny that I'm sweating, but in life you have two choices. You can either be comfortable and not look good, or you can look good and be uncomfortable, but rarely do they combine. And then she said, oh, forget this guy, you look great. And then they walked away. But my friend, he said to me, oh, that was an interesting exchange. Why do you think the guy chimed in? And I said, well, he chimed in because his girlfriend paid me a compliment, and maybe he felt insecure, or, he was a little jealous because, why is she looking at another guy? Why is she complimenting him? But, she just was in the moment and saw me and thought, oh, he looks good. I want to compliment him. And I had a few other compliments as the day progressed, even though a lot of people did say, man, you're wearing a lot of leather. This other guy said, man, you got a whole bunch of leather and it's really hot. And I kind of basically echoed the same thing. I'm like, well, hey, you're either going to look good or not, or be comfortable, right? But the point is, with that couple, is that, people get so upset and jealous over little things. Who cares that girl paid me a compliment? She's with him, right? She's not with me. She's spending it's nighttime right now. Is she here with me? No, she's with him. So, I think it's so interesting how people, make a big deal. I remember I saw some movie. I can't even remember the name of the movie. But this guy said to his friend, hey, your wife, she has fantasies about this other guy. Doesn't that bother you? And he said, no, why would it bother me? She's in my bed every night. She's having sex with me. she wants to fantasize about this other guy or has dreams about this other dude. Well, okay, whatever. She's with me. She's not with him. And I always thought that's the way you have to be in a relationship. You can't be sitting here going, oh my God, why is my girlfriend or my partner looking at this other person? I mean, who cares who they're looking at? If they're with you, that's all that matters. So just throwing in that little bit of 2 cents. Then the last thing I want to say, because my friend brought this to my attention, because he knows I have a YouTube channel. And he goes, what is like the most popular content on your YouTube channel? And I said, I guess it would have to be the boots. I started off doing boot reviews. I got my Wescos here. And I think I would say most people want to see boots. My leather jacket shot P613S video is my most popular, which is the leather jacket review. So, probably some leather jacket people are in there as well. And he goes, so every video is about boots and leather jacket? I said, no. I said, I do a lot of videos that have nothing to do with boots and leather jackets. I mean, I do motorcycle stuff. Recently, I posted my Philippines trip. And he goes, but Oz, if the majority of your viewers want to see boots and leather stuff, then why don't you just do boots and leather stuff? And I said, because I have a lot of other interests. I don't want to just focus on boots and leather stuff. And then he said, so you're basically a bit of a tease. And I'm like, what are you talking about? He goes, well, people who want to see all your leather stuff, they have to sit through a bunch of stuff they don't want to see because maybe you'll show them boots or maybe you'll talk about leather jackets or whatever. And I said, listen, my channel is called Wiz of Ozzy. You know who Ozzy is? I'm Ozzy. It's not called Wiz of Tall Boots. It's not called Wiz of Leather Jackets. It's not called Wiz of Wesco. It's called Wiz of Ozzy because I'm Ozzy. And I am the star. So there is no teasing because every video that I put on YouTube has me. Now, if I happen to have boots on or a leather jacket or whatever, that's extra. It's like gravy on your mashed potatoes or like chocolate sprinkles on your ice cream. That's extra. But I'm the star of this channel. And so I was telling him, I said, so I'm not teasing anybody because people, I'm hoping my viewers want to see me and they want to hear what I've been doing and sharing in my life and my adventures, or if I'm reviewing boots or whatever, that's just part of the overall package. But I don't see it as a tease because the channel is not called Wiz of Boots or Wiz of Leather Jacket. It's Wiz of Ozzy. And, but I did think it was interesting because he was like, that was his take. And I was like, oh, no. This channel is about my life and my journey, and I'm sharing it with people. And if you like, I hope you guys like it. I want to entertain you. I want you to enjoy the videos. But yeah, not every video is going to have Wesco tall boots. Not every video is going to be about leather jackets. But I hope none of you see it as me teasing you because I'm not trying to tease you. I'm here every week, or I try not every week, but I'm here every video. And really, I hope you tune in to just sharing my adventures and my life and whatever I choose to share here on YouTube, and not just because you want to see tall boots. I do love tall boots, but that doesn't, on my channel, I'm trying to make it, I want my channel to be more than just tall boots. So I just wanted to say that little bit because when we had the discussion, that kind of threw me back a bit when he said that. So, but anyway, I guess that's it. So until the next video, which I am not too sure what will be at this point, but whatever the next video is, as always, my friends, I want you to ride like the wind and don't let that wind ride you. And I will see you on the next one.